Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Today's video is very exciting. I'm going to be reviewing the brand new Burgundy KyShadow Palette from Kylie Cosmetics. I was not lucky enough to get my hands on the bronze palette, even though it is available now. I decided I would rather purchase this one because it's more fall toned. I do like the colors in the other one, but I never could make myself purchase it. But the hype was real with this Burgundy palette and it's perfect for the fall, so I picked it up and I'm very excited to share my thoughts with you. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you a demo of this eyeshadow palette on my eyes for the first time, as well as swatches, and I'll be reviewing it and telling you my thoughts if I think it's worth it and all of that. So before I jump into my little demo, I just want to say thank you guys so much for being here. If you are new to my channel, please subscribe. I would love to have you in my YouTube family. And I just announced my 100,000 subscriber giveaway, so if you haven't entered into that giveaway yet, go ahead and do that. I also have a Kylie Cosmetics product in that giveaway, so I will leave that linked below and I will have it in a little card if you guys haven't checked that out yet and you haven't entered and you want to. But without further ado, I'm going to be talking about this palette, so first let's jump into the demo. Okay, so at this point, I have not even swatched this palette at all. I'm about to use it for the very first time on my eyes with a brush. I felt like that would be my best first impression, and hopefully I will be able to see exactly how I like these shadows, so that's what we're going to do first. So I think for the look that I want to do today, I want to stick to mostly matte eyeshadows. I might end up throwing a little bit of shimmer under the brow bone and in the inner corner, but I want to stick with mostly matte. So the first shade that I'm going to use is this shade up in the corner, and this shade is named Penny. So I'm going to be picking this up with a new brush from Morphe. This is out of the Rose Gold collection. This is the R39. It's a lot like the M433. It's just a fluffy brush, and these are the best for blending eyeshadow into the crease. This is my first time picking up any color out of this. And there you can see my brush is picking up quite a bit of product, but there isn't too much fallout, so I'm going to tap off the excess a little, and I'm going to see how this blends into my crease. Okay, so far so good. It's not insanely pigmented, but I didn't pick up a ton and I did tap it off. So I'm going to pick up a little bit more of that same shade. Okay, and that is a lot more pigment. It's building up nicely and it's blending beautifully. This seems to be really good at blending. It doesn't take much to blend that color out. So I'm going to do the same thing on the other eye. I did pick up a little bit more this time. Blends out very quickly, very easily. Okay, so I really enjoyed that Penny shade. I'm going to pick up a little bit of this brown in the middle here, and the shade name of this is Beach. And I'm going to just mix that in with that crease color just for a little bit more definition. This brown is more of like an everyday brown. It's not so much burgundy toned. So I'm going to go ahead and add that into my crease. And it's blending very evenly with the other color. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other eye. Those might be some of the smoothest, easiest to blend mattes that I've ever tried, to be completely honest with you. So I'm excited to see how the shimmers perform. So I'm sorry there's some light coming through from my window behind me. Hopefully that doesn't interfere with the video too much. But I am going to put on a little bit of this creamy color. This looks like it might be a shimmer, and this is in the shade Naked. So it looks like it might just be a satiny kind of shimmery shade. So I'm going to put that on my lid. And my favorite brush for packing color onto the lid is my Sigma E54. So here it is. This brush is just really good at picking up a lot of eyeshadow and packing it on your lid. So I'm going to pack this onto the center of my lid. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other eye. And this is definitely more of a satin finish. It's not super shimmery, but it's not like a foiled texture or anything like that. I'm going to go back in with that Morphe brush and make sure that the crease is blended with those two colors up top, Beach and Penny. And now I'm going to take my Morphe M433, this is a clean blending brush, and I'm going to use this to pick up some darker burgundy and put this into the outer corner of my eye. So I think for this I'm going to use this bottom left shade right here, and this is the shade Almond. So I'm going to pick this up just at the very tip of my brush. I don't know if you guys can tell, but it's not picking up as much of this color as the other colors. And then I'm just going to work this into the outer third of my eye. This transfers beautifully to the eyelid. This one blended really, really well. It didn't pick up a ton, but it's almost like that's what you need for perfect blendability. I don't own the bronze palette, but this is just so gorgeous. I'm very impressed with this formula. I'm keeping it really unbiased because I have never tried any of this before, so I'm pretty excited about this eyeshadow formula, I'm not gonna lie. I'm going to take this shimmery burgundy color, and I believe this is in the shade Dubai, and I'm going to pick this up with my little Morphe brush. This is my Morphe R43, and this just has a little flat top, and it's perfect for dragging color along the lower lash line. Again, it's not picking up a ton of this product, but I feel like that's pretty nice because there's not a lot of fallout. They might just be more hard pressed into the pan. And then I'm going to drag this down my lower lash line in the outer third. This is going to help make my eyes look a little bit bigger. And on the eye, this is not insanely shimmery. So that's something to keep in mind. I'm sure you could add some Fix Plus and it would be really shimmery. I haven't swatched this yet. I'm also going to do that in this video. But it's interesting to see how they apply to the eyes. So I'm going to take another one of my Morphe brushes, and I'm taking these two colors again, and I'm just going to tap off the excess and blend my lower lash line, just so it's not harsh looking. And I actually refrained from watching anyone's review of this palette because I wanted to form my own opinion. I did watch them on the bronze palette, and it's interesting to see some people love them and some people really don't. But I will form all of my thoughts when I swatch everything and all of that. But so far, the eye application is stunning. Okay, so you guys know I like to keep it real simple. That's all I'm going to do for my eyeshadow today. I'm going to turn around, complete my makeup, and then come back and start this video and finish my thoughts and swatches, and hopefully this was helpful. Alright, so as you could see from the demo, I really enjoyed the way that this palette applied to the eyes. I really liked the way that it was very blendable, the mattes were very beautiful, but I have not swatched this on my fingers yet, and I'm dying to do that, so that is what I want to do now. So I'm going to swatch each of the shades in this palette so that you guys can see them, but first I want to give you a little close-up of all of the shades. So here they are. As you can see, this palette is very appropriate for fall. It has some burgundy colors, some cranberry colors, and some orange colors. So this is very warm toned and very appropriate for the fall. This palette has the same design as the bronze palette that I don't own. It has the eyes with the little tears, but the tears on this palette are that burgundy color scheme. This also comes in the little box that I have behind me. This palette also comes with the little note from Kylie that has the blinking eye on the other side. I think this is adorable, and I actually want to hold on to this and do something with it. I actually have a Kylie lip kit stood up on my vanity. I really fall into the hype of this as well, so don't get me wrong, even though some of the products I haven't liked, some of them I really do, and I definitely fall into the whole hype of loving a Kylie product and being obsessive and all of that. I'm guilty. So very quickly, I just want to talk about the packaging of this. I think that the packaging is beautiful. I love the design, but I am not a fan of this cardboard holder. When I first opened this, I noticed that some of the cardboard right here, I don't know if you guys can see it, but right around this middle shade, it's lifting. And I'm not a fan of that because I like to do flat lays and I like to take pictures of my makeup for my Instagram account, which might sound stupid to some people because obviously that doesn't affect the usage of the eyeshadow, but to me it's just something visually that I don't like, but I can move past that because it's kind of petty. So for swatches, I'm going to go ahead and start with the lightest shade in the palette. This shade right here is called Naked, and this is kind of a satin champagne color. I used this all over my eyelid today, and I really liked the way that it applied. It was more of a satin color. It definitely wasn't a full-on shimmer. So I'm going to go ahead and do a finger swatch for the first time with this palette. So there is Naked on my finger, and this color really reminds me of just your typical champagne color. It's a very pretty, shiny champagne, and I like this for a brow bone color. I didn't happen to use it on my brow bone today, but that is something I could definitely see myself using this for. I want you guys to please excuse my self-tan. I got a spray tan, and it's starting to come off my arm, so that is very unattractive. So hopefully you guys don't mind that, but I am going to be swatching it on my splotchy arm. So there's the shade Naked. It really blends in with my skin tone on my arm, but it is that pretty champagne kind of muted satin color. Next up, we have a matte brown called Beach. I used this in the crease of my eye along with this color right here, and this blended so beautifully. This is the first matte out of the palette, and I love this color. So here it is on my middle finger. This brown color right here, this caramely brown, is my favorite transition color. I'm obsessed with any brown eyeshadow that's like this. I have so many of them though. That's one thing that I feel you can always do is find alternatives for colors like this. But it is very beautiful, and I loved the way that it blended in my crease. So there is Beach. Next up is another matte. This one is more of a burnt orange, and this is called Penny. This is also in my crease. It's the first color I used on my eyes today, and this is gorgeous. It again kind of reminds me of the vibes from the Modern Renaissance palette by Anastasia, that kind of brick burnt orange color. So I really like this for the fall. I'm definitely a fan. And again, it blended so nice in my crease, so I'm a huge fan of the matte shades. This one does have a little bit more fallout than some of the other shadows. This is more of a coppery orange color than the brown, and I really like this one. When I first saw this palette, I was more drawn to the burgundy shades, so I didn't notice that there also were copper colors in here. So I really like the copper colors. I feel like this is a good mix of the original bronze palette and the burgundy palette. I feel like there are warm shadows in this that you can get use out of as well. So there is Penny. So next up we have a beautiful bronze shimmer. I haven't even touched this shade yet, and this is in the shade LA. Okay, so first impression, this is a beautiful copper color. It picks up way more foiled when you put it on your finger than it looks in the pan. Okay, so that right there is LA. This seems to be so pigmented and so shimmery. I'm very impressed with the shimmer. That is the first true shimmer out of this palette, so I have to say I'm very, very impressed with that formula. So next up is the middle shade, and this is the color Burgundy. I haven't used this one yet either, and swiping it on my finger, I have to say this is the most true wine-colored eyeshadow that I've ever swatched. It's like straight up wine-colored. So there is Burgundy. There is a lot of pigment in these mattes. So some of them can pull a little bit powdery, but really not too bad. They seem to be pretty firmly pressed in the pan, but at the same time, they're very pigmented. So those are two really good qualities that I love. So next up is another shimmery color. I used this one on my lower lash line, and it didn't really pull very shimmery on my eyes, but this is the shade Dubai, and I feel like this would look beautiful for a cranberry smoky eye. If you want shimmer, you could put some Fix Plus and put this all over your lid, and I think it would be very nice. So I'm going to swatch this one. It is still shimmery, but it's not that intense foiled color that I thought it would be. So that explains the performance on my eyes. So that right there is Dubai. Okay, so next up is another matte. I use this one in the outer corner of my eye, and because of the names being backwards, I might have said the wrong name when I was doing the little tutorial. So this is the shade Brick. So Brick is definitely a red toned brown. So this is another one of those browns that reminds me of Makeup Geek Cocoa Bear. Very beautiful, very pigmented, and very blendable and smooth. I have to say I am a huge fan of this formula so far. So that right there is Brick. Next up we have a bronze color, and this is the shade New York. And I think this would be very beautiful for a bronze smoky eye. Something that I've noticed with red or cranberry shadows is that they stain. So my middle finger, since I've been swatching, is now stained. So I'm moving on to another finger. But that's something to keep in mind because not everyone wants their eyes to be stained red. So yeah, just keep that in mind. I don't really mind it because hopefully makeup remover takes it off, but just something to pay attention to when you're buying this palette. So there is New York on my finger. Again, this looks like it's one of those super shimmery shades. And that was a bad placement, but that is New York, and it is very shimmery and very pigmented, just like this color right here. So I am very excited to use that one. And last up is a deeper brown. This is the shade Almond, and this is another matte shade. I haven't used this one yet. Whoa, okay, this one is very, very pigmented, nice and dark. And again, same formula. It seems very consistent throughout the palette. So there is Almond. So there we have it. This is the entire palette swatched. Honestly, I think that these are very impressive swatches, especially when I didn't really have anything to go by because I didn't purchase the other palette. So very, very pigmented, blendable, and buttery. Not too much fallout, but there is a little bit. As you can see with this one, I had a little bit of fallout on my finger, and that's why it dragged down like that. Okay, so now that I have demonstrated this palette and I have swatched it, I can tell you my complete thoughts. This is my first impression on this palette because obviously this is the first day that I have used it, but so far I am very impressed. Honestly, I will be honest with you guys, I did not have very high hopes. I was ready to be kind of disappointed for the price because this is a $42 palette, which is pretty high for 9 eyeshadows. But as always, you are paying for the Kylie name, you're paying for the logos, and that is something to be expected with the Kylie Cosmetics brand. It is going to be a little bit pricier than normal, but I have to say this I think was worth it in my opinion. This palette did end up costing me $50.95 because of the shipping cost. As always, I think the Kylie Cosmetics shipping is just ridiculous, but I am happy with the quality of the eyeshadows, so I'm not going to complain about that too much because overall I did have a good experience with this palette. The mattes blended so beautifully onto my eye. The one shimmer that I did use didn't show up as shimmery as I wanted it to be, but I do feel that there are only 2 very, very shimmery shades, and they are this one right here and this one right here. This first color, Naked, looks like it would be a shimmer, but it's definitely more of a satin. And then these 2, the one in the middle and then the 2 outside ones at the bottom, are all matte shades. So overall, I'm very happy with this purchase. I actually would recommend trying this out because I definitely think that the formula is good. I think the eyeshadows are good. They're very blendable. They're one of the most blendable eyeshadows that I have tried. I do think that Kylie is working on making her products more accessible and restocking them more often. That's definitely a huge plus because that's the reason I didn't get the first palette, is because it sold out in 30 seconds and it wouldn't come back until a week later, etc. So if you guys are looking for an alternative to this palette, I will say that the closest palette in my collection to this one is the Modern Renaissance. And both of these palettes are $42. This one comes with 9 shades and the Modern Renaissance comes with 14 shades. So you are getting more for your money with the Modern Renaissance palette. As you can see in this palette, you are getting burgundies, you're getting wines, and you're getting burnt oranges. Pretty much all of the shadows that you get in the Kylie palette, you can get similar shades in the Modern Renaissance if you guys do not want to purchase this one. From internet chatter, I do think that this palette is a different formula than the bronze palette. If that's something that you guys want to see from me, then let me know. If you want me to pick up that palette and then do a little comparison of colors or formula or anything like that, I would be happy to. I kind of want her to launch another palette because I'm pretty stoked about this one. So if you guys want to see future reviews of any palettes or anything like that, let me know. Hopefully I covered all my bases here. I hope that you enjoyed the demo and the swatches. This is definitely a thumbs up from me. I don't really have anything negative to say. I'm just not a huge fan of the cardboard packaging, but that's pretty much it, and that's not very important. I do think it would be cool if she included a mirror as well, but I do understand that that kind of hikes up the value of the palette, and we do not need to pay any more, in my opinion. So that is pretty much all that I have to say about this palette. Let me know if you guys enjoyed this review by giving me a thumbs up. If you guys want me to review any more Kylie lip kits, then go ahead and request the shades down below and I can pick them up next time I shop from there. I really have been having some positive experiences shopping from this company, so I am back on board with it. I am happy to purchase things and review them for you. I know that these are some of the most highly requested videos that you guys want to see, and I'm definitely more than happy to provide them for you. So as always, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe. I put out new videos every single week, and if you haven't entered my giveaway yet, definitely do so. You're not going to want to miss out on that. I will leave that linked down below, as well as information on this palette. If you guys are interested, always check out the description box. I leave more info down there. If I forgot anything, it will be down there. I hope that you guys all have an amazing day. I will talk to you in the comments, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.